Championship with Lewis head coach Dan Friend and student athletes Tyler Mitchum and Mitch Perinar. We'll start things off with an opening statement from head coach and then open it up for questions.
Well, first off, congratulations to Hawaii. I thought they played a fantastic match. Ultimately put a ton of pressure on us, and we responded at times, but just didn't quite stay with them. And so good luck to those guys in the next round. And beyond that, super proud of my guys. I thought we showed a lot of grit and battled. And even when we were down a little bit, we found a way to win Game 3 and push it to 4. And beyond that, we've had a great year and a lot of accomplishments. And our seniors did a fantastic job over the course of their 5 years and 4 years for some of those guys. So I'm really proud of them.
All right, Vinny.
Vinny Lopes here from Off the Block. Question for all the players and the coaches. You had a lot of the momentum after that third game overtime. What do you feel was the biggest difference between that overtime and the fourth game and the adjustments Hawaii made?
All right. Well, I mean, like you said, the third game we made that push at the end. Tyler serving phenomenal, and then we made some good plays, and it got down to that point where they were like a couple game points in a row in the third set. I'm talking about the third set, and it was every time we got a kill, it was like, okay, wait, we can do this, and every time we did it, and then we knew that if we side it out, they were going to make something happen, or they were going to do something that was not right, and it actually happened, and we capitalized on it. Going into that fourth set, we had the same energy. I don't think there was any drop-off from any of the players. On the bench, the coaching staff, all of us were like, we just did that. We can hang with these guys, knowing how good of a team they are. And we came out, and in the fourth set, they just kind of came right on top of us. They came out and they jumped on us. And I think that they served some really good balls, and we tried to weather the storm, and they came a little bit harder than maybe what we expected. I don't know. We knew they were going to come out hard, but it just they had the edge. So.
Yeah, I agree. I liked how we fought. It came down to each team was missing serve after serve, and just who was able to execute better, kind of better.
Yeah, I think that fourth game they put the serving pressure on it. I mean, the tell of the tape is that serve pass battle, and they had 10 aces to our 1, and I think we had 19 errors, so I think that's tough. And I think you saw them put that pressure on us in Game 4.
Vinny.
Going back. Tyler, for you, big performance in this match. I know not many people outside of the MIVA may have heard your name, before this event. But what do you think about having this type of performance and maybe be the big breakout performance for you to be nationally known?
Yeah, a big thing for me is it's kind of frustrating to hear how people don't consider the MIVA and the EVA as good conferences, and I think it's kind of crappy that that's the mentality toward it. And for me, it was definitely I wanted to show off that we're not that type of game. We can compete with these guys, and we're not rollovers.
PJ?
What will you guys take away from this experience? What lesson is there an overall lesson or a few lessons that you kind of learned from the experience of getting here?
Yeah, I mean, of course there is. Competing at this level and competing against such a good team. I mean, Hawaii is a phenomenal team. We've been hearing about it for the whole season, even out in Chicago, knowing how good they are. But we knew how good we were, and when we came out here and we played USC, we made it known that we can compete at this level. And once we came out here and we played in front of this crowd and we heard all the people what they were saying and hearing about us and knowing that we can compete at this level, and we've been doing it for years. I mean, Dan's been coaching for how long, and how many times has he gone to the NCAA tournament or been coach of the year? So we're here, and as a fifth-year guy and playing in this experience, I mean, it was awesome, and it's you learn courage, you learn confidence, especially at this level. I mean, going out there and playing in front of so many people and so many people watching, the confidence that you gain from it, and just overall, stigma is great. So it's awesome.
Cindy?
To the players, did Hawaii do anything that you weren't expecting, or what was maybe the hardest thing that you expected from them and couldn't stop?
I think They were. I mean, we've been scouting them, and we thought that they did exactly what we scouted, and they just do. Well, the thing is like we said it in the scouting report is they just do a great job of doing what that they're good at. So they're not sitting there running like Long Beach where they'll do some inside plays or like not that often. They're just running straight up at you, and they're just big, just attackers, and they're hitting the ball in the right spots almost every single time. So it wasn't something that they were doing special that we thought we weren't prepared for. I think that they just did a really good job of executing.
Vinny?
So I know with the way these news conferences work, you can't bring up every player. So one player wasn't able to be brought up is Matt Yoshimoto. And I was wondering if each of you could just talk about what he's meant to your team this season and how he's really grown as a setter.
You got first.
That guy is probably one of the most unique people I've met. Like, he can go from high to low, mature to being Yoshi. And just to see the way he's acted throughout this tournament, to like have that look in his eye, to show us like some accountability, was really like a different look for him, for me.
Yeah, Yosh. I mean, Yosh is probably one of my best friends. I've been roommates with him since he's been at school here. And this year, just the steps he's taken. Julian made a comment a couple days, maybe yesterday, just about how mature Yosh has become, leading our offense and just being an overall great player. I mean, we got a setter going back there curling a ball, like serving 60, 70 miles an hour consistently, doing a great job out there and just turning the page. I mean, on the court, he's great and he's just so good. And then, he'll make some great plays. He'll bring guys in and we'll do a really good job. And then we'll get on the bus before a game and he'll forget his pass or forget his shoes and we'll have to drive back and go get him. So there's that give and take that Tyler was talking about. But he's a phenomenal player. I'm happy he got the recognition he deserved with the MIVA Player of the Year. I'm glad the MIVA acknowledged that, and he's a great guy. So.
Players like that are why you coach. I mean, there's so much growth from him. You talk about losing shoes or things like that, but to see the maturity he's gone from when he was a freshman to being the MIVA Player of the Year to helping us get to a Final Four and competing at this stage is the reason I coach. I mean, it's really neat to see that maturity and that growth. So.
All right. One more for Vinny.
Cindy. Yeah, can you do two more?
Cindy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Cindy, go for it.
Coach, say if it is, if it is Hawaii Long Beach State, how do you see that match?
Going 5. What do you expect? It's going 5 every single time. Do you know what I mean? That was an easy one. So I think 2 great teams in a great venue, a lot of great athletes and players. I've watched all 3 of them. You know what I mean? So I think, Pepperdine and Long Beach are going to be a great game tonight, and you got to get through them. But if it does end up being that, I think it's going to be worth the price of admission in terms of watching that match. So I'd like to say as epic as our match in 15, maybe. Do you know what I mean? So, against Loyola. So.
Well, Coach, that'll be debatable if that's as good as the MIVA getting. But I do want to ask you, broad picture, this was the final match of the decade for a MIVA team. Can I just get your assessment on how much the conference has grown in the last 10 years and improved?
I think a lot. I think ultimately, I think you've got, the 4 or 5 out of the last 7 national championships coming from the MIVA, and maybe the MIVA was a little down this year, but it's going to cycle through. It's going to go like that. I just think the growth of boys volleyball across the country is great. And so you're seeing that level of play get better and better and better. Barton was phenomenal this year. They were a good team. Do you know what I mean? And so it's really neat to see all that growth coming across, and whether it's the MIVA or the EVA or the Conference Carolinas or the Big West splitting from the MPSF, that's been great. And you see this dominance of the Big West the past couple of years, and so it's neat to see kind of the parity and how teams and conferences are all improving and making volleyball better. So as a coach who's been doing it for 20-some years and I got a lot left, I think it's really exciting.
Can I comment on that too? Yeah, I mean, you just look at McKendree, a team that just started how many years ago, and they're sitting there in the 4 or 5 spot in the playoffs, or in our MIVA playoffs. They're doing a phenomenal job down there. I mean, they just started. So you look at if we start more teams and everyone, like the growth you said, it's unbelievable, and they can make these teams great. So, just want to make that comment.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, and congratulations,
Thanks.
Lewis, on a great season.
Thank you.